Hello. Okay, back January of this year, 2023, read an article. Derek Wolfe, former NFL player, Denver Broncos, killed a mountain lion in Colorado. Uh, Hunted it with a bow. So what had happened was this lion. First off, he was licensed to hunt lions. This lion had been terrorizing the community, basically killing dogs, supposedly living under someone's porch at one point. And, people asked him, they knew he was licensed to hunt lions, so they asked him if he would hunt it. And he did. Killed it. Posted pictures of himself with it on social media. And that started a big to do about this. Now, this was not your common, I'm going to go to Africa and kill a lion just to kill a lion. Remember what Cecil the lion from 2 or 3 years ago. This was a lion which was terrorizing a community, and so they asked him to hunt it, and he did. But people didn't want to accept this, and I saw a few people made comments about if man didn't encroach upon the lion's habitat, the lion wouldn't be terrorizing the neighborhood. True, I agree. Except, and here's the question this raises, where is man's habitat? Do we just all live in the big cities and never go out to the country because that's man's habitat, or what? And no one wants to answer this. But this brought to mind a question, which why does man have to be the one who constantly limits himself? I mean, if we are animals, which a lot of people want to claim we are, I believe in creation. I believe God made us as a special creation, but a lot of the world wants to say we evolved. And if we evolved, we're just animals. So if we are just animals, then why are we putting limits on ourselves, or why do we expect more of ourselves than we do other animals? Now, we are intelligent, and with intelligence comes responsibility. I will accept that. We have the ability to destroy the world, and not destroying the world is a responsibility of ours. But beyond that, when it comes to being kind to other animals, which I like animals, I don't want to see them die. But why should we always be at the disadvantage? Why should we always put other animals ahead of ourselves? I mean, animals themselves don't do that. Animals fight over resources. We are destroying the world because we want resources. Now, some people, especially when we talk about people wanting to go big game hunting, which again, like I said, I think big game hunting is sort of a stupid thing. I can understand killing a lion because it's threatening your village. I can't understand paying thousands of dollars to go out specifically to kill a lion. But people do it. That I'm not defending, but anyway, like I said, when the lions do encroach upon us, why is it such a bad thing? Well, we encroached upon its territory, so that's why they were threatening our village. Okay, except again, that's what animals do. When they run out of resources, they expand into other territories if possible. So that's humans are doing what animals do. Again, we have the intelligence; we can adapt to more than animals can. So the forest gets full. The woodland creatures, they have to either fight each other for resources, or they have to cross the desert to go to the next forest, or cross the ocean to go to the next forest, or whatever. So, human intelligence, we can cross from one environment to another environment. And so, naturally we are going to be able to expand better than other creatures. We are going to have an advantage over them. Point I was making about hunting lions, which I forgot about, and now I'm getting back to. Every now and then people will say, well, yeah, you can hunt a lion because you have a gun. Take away the gun, and would you really do that? Well, okay. And the lion can kill me because it's got claws and fangs. Take away its claws and fangs, would it really attack me? You know, the idea, our advantage, what allows us to survive is our intelligence, and our intelligence allows us to create weapons to fight animals if we have to. I'm against fighting them for no reason, but when it comes to defense, yeah, make a weapon, fight the animal if necessary. Again, don't want to justify killing for the sake of killing, but I do want to justify that, we don't have to put ourselves at a disadvantage just because we're smarter. I mean, there comes a time when, yes, we are going to compete for resources. That's what all animals do. Passenger pigeon. When I was growing up, the last passenger pigeon died, I believe, in 1972, sometime around there. This was a few years before I was in school. So naturally, we learned about the passenger pigeon and what horrible, horrible people we were for killing off the passenger pigeons. That's all we learned about them. Now, if you go and you look up and you read about passenger pigeons, you'll learn a lot more about them. They lived in big flocks. This is one of the reasons we killed them off, was because there were too many of them. And so we tried to reduce their number, but they survived better in big flocks, and so by reducing their number, we ended up causing them to die. Not very good, but continue to read. They do things like farmers had problems with them. Passenger pigeons, they would fly into a region and they would eat everything. Saw one quote, they would even eat the soil after they ate everything else. According to some quotes, they would eat leaves off trees, they would eat nuts, they would eat berries, they would eat seeds, they would eat everything. And then move on. So my question is, how many animals went extinct because of the passenger pigeon? Passenger pigeon moves in, eats everything, the other animals starve. I mean, they were in competition with other animals for resources, like humans are. We don't know. Again, we moved to North America, passenger pigeons, we started interacting with them. We weren't here observing the passenger pigeons and the other animals and taking measurements of how many different species of chipmunks are there, and then passenger pigeon flock comes through and now there are one less species of chipmunk or whatever. Americans weren't observing it. And so, yes, we killed the passenger pigeon. I admit it. But how many other species died because the passenger pigeon existed? Did we actually do a good thing by killing off the passenger pigeon? Maybe. Yes, no, maybe. I don't know. We don't know because, again, we only have records of when humans were here. When humans started keeping record, that is. There were humans here and they coexisted with the passenger pigeon. Possibly they could have existed better without the passenger pigeon. They were hunter-gatherer, they had to move around too. The passenger pigeons themselves could have been killing other species and we wouldn't care. We would, that's just nature's way. Okay, so humans move in. That's just nature's way. We want resources, we fight over them. Nature's way. Go to what else? Bison, same thing. We'd hear stories about big herds of bisons as wide as the state. The entire state of Kansas and a whole herd of bison stretching from one end to the other. Okay, so what were they eating? And what were the other animals eating while they were there? I mean, they were competing with other animals for the grassland, whatever they ate. So, would did the bison make other animals go extinct? Now, got people 20 or 30 years ago, people started complaining about methane from cattle. And we have to do something about cattle farmers and reduce the number of cows because methane is destroying the ozone layer. Herd of bison the size of Kansas. How much methane did they release? I mean, size of Kansas, again, I'm assuming that is larger than most herds of cattle. Could be wrong on some of that. Well, I'm not wrong with that, but I was thinking when would a Kansas-sized herd of buffalo be more than the amount of cattle in the United States? That's what I was thinking of when I thought it might be. Possibly, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how many cattle are in the United States. Are they larger than any single herd of cattle? Yes, I would say so, because I don't think no farmer owns enough land to have a herd of cattle that big. They'd have to own Kansas, basically. So, bison were bad for the environment according to the way we look at it today. If cows are bad for the environment because they release methane, so were the bison. And again, we also have the bison were competing with the deer and the antelope for various food sources. So, did we actually save one or two species by killing off the bison? And we didn't kill them off completely. There are still bison around, they just aren't as many. They're endangered now, just not extinct. Again, not a good thing altogether, but at the same time, animals compete for resources. It's only bad when man causes them to die out. When one species causes another to die out, it's okay as long as they aren't man. The dodo. Man did not make the dodo go extinct. Pigs did. Now that said, man did introduce pigs to Madagascar. Dodos nested on the ground. Pigs required a taste for the dodo eggs. Pigs would eat the eggs. The dodos died out. But we only know about this because, again, man kept records of it. Supposing pigs somehow got to Madagascar without man. It happens sometimes. Animals get set adrift, make it to an island, take over the island. A wild pig could have done this, perhaps. It's unlikely, but if that did happen, we wouldn't care. Oh, it's nature's way, pig just destroyed the dodo. Not a problem. It's only when man is involved that we act worried about it. And again, the dodo, it was unintentional. We didn't go around stomping on dodo nests. It was the pig that did it. We inadvertently took this animal around which destroyed them. Now there are other animals that eat eggs. There are lizards, or various reptiles which will eat eggs of bird eggs. So what if one of them had gotten to Madagascar? More likely to happen than pigs getting set adrift, because lizards can survive that sort of thing better. They can hibernate better on the journey, whatever. There are birds that eat other birds' eggs. So if one of them got blown off course while migrating and landed in Madagascar, eggs. So more likely scenario would be another bird making the dodo go extinct. Again, we wouldn't care because it's one animal destroying another animal, and that's just nature's way. But turn around and humans do it, whether on purpose or by mistake, and suddenly we're worried about it. Now, like I said, I do believe in creation, and there is the man was meant to be a steward of the good steward of the earth, and I believe that. So that's one argument, but most of the people who are worried about man destroying the environment don't really believe in God or creation or anything like that. So they can't use the good steward of the earth argument. They are sort of stuck with the man is somehow responsible while no other animal is. Again, our intelligence allows us to destroy the world, and we are aware that we have the capability of destroying the world. And that does put a little more responsibility on us, I will agree with that. Along those lines, though, so we can go back to as far back at least to Roman times. The Romans deforested the Sahara, northern Africa, enlarged the Sahara Desert for resources. They, wanted the wood to make ships, basically, and so they deforested the area. We had Emperor Titus, with the sack of Jerusalem, plowed it with salt, and plowed the surrounding region and made it infertile. So we can very purposely destroy the environment. We are aware of that. We've known so, as far back as Roman times, at least, possibly earlier. Can't give any examples earlier off the top of my head, but it's possible that we can find. Oh yeah, man has been aware that we can destroy the environment. Have we been aware that we could destroy the world and the concept of destroying the world? And for that, it's only been for about 400 years that we've explored the whole world and seen it for what it is. We've been aware that the world is out there. We haven't been aware of the full extent of it until we actually circumnavigated the globe and saw what was going on and stuff like that. So the idea that we could destroy the world is relatively new. And even as we were expanding and exploring the world and using up research sources, the idea that we would use up all the resources is really only about 100 years old, maybe 200 years at most. It's not a large. So we do have the intelligence to look back 200 years and say we got to do something about this, but we also had several thousand perhaps years of just habit of using stuff. So the idea that it's up to man to save the world, we were destroying the world at a time when the concept of us destroying the world was not realistic. Now we look back and yes, we can possibly destroy the world, but we are in the habit of destroying the world. So stopping that process is a little less likely. Should we start trying to stop destroying the world? Yes, I'm all for that. Should we put ourselves at a disadvantage to other animals in the process? No. Because even though we're supposed to be stewards of the earth, we aren't supposed to put animals above us. I mean, we are, nature's way. We compete with other species. Even as stewards of the earth, we compete. The other option is to reduce human population, and same reason why I think we're stewards of the earth. I don't think we should be killing people. Just that's one option people put forward is we need to reduce population because otherwise we'll destroy the world. Well, passenger pigeon was the same way. Bison was the same way. But when we take care of that, reduce their population or kill them, as the case is, it's a bad thing because it's only bad when man does it. And so that's, like I said, we do have to be careful about how we handle the earth. And I am against killing off animals for the sake of killing off animals, but at the same time, we should not just be over judgmental about what man does, because all animals do it. I mean, it's what we are doing what comes naturally to animals, and we should at the very least, we should judge other animals the same as us. Passenger pigeon, potentially destroying other species. It had to go. Human, potentially destroying other species. The time might come when we might have to go. But it's against our nature. As animals, if you want to look at ourselves as animals, it is against our nature to just say, oh, we're going to put ourselves at a disadvantage. And that's all I had to say. Have a good day.